there's this idea going around that a ketogenic high-fat diet causes gallstones. So I want to explain the mechanism behind gallstones so you can really understand that it's not a high-fat diet. In fact, what causes a lot of gallstones is when people go on a low-fat diet or they're not consuming enough saturated fat. So let me just explain. There's three main sources of cholesterol. First of all, cholesterol comes from your diet, okay? Secondly, you have cholesterol that is made from carbohydrates. So in other words, if you're consuming refined sugars and carbs, a lot of that excess will end up as cholesterol. So your body makes it from carbs. So you have the dietary cholesterol coming from fatty foods, animal fats, right? Not plant fats, like coconut fat doesn't have cholesterol in it. It's just animal fats. Then you have the dietary sugars and refined carbs that are converting to cholesterol. Then you have cholesterol that is originating from the burning of your fat tissue. Your fat is composed of mostly triglycerides and cholesterol. And so when you burn fat, you end up mobilizing a lot of cholesterol from the fat cell, going through the liver, and normally it should go out through the small intestine because most of the triglyceride in the fat is being used as energy, but you can't use cholesterol from energy. So that has to go out through the liver with the help of bile salts, okay, from your gallbladder. And so when you're on a low carb diet, okay, you're not generating any cholesterol anymore. You are consuming a lot of cholesterol from the diet, but most of that cholesterol is not being absorbed, okay? It's going through your body. The cholesterol that you see in your blood test when you're on a ketogenic diet is mostly coming from the fat cells releasing cholesterol. And so your body is pretty much clearing about 100 to 200 milligrams of cholesterol every single day. So a gallstone is a super concentrated cholesterol stone, okay? You have this ratio of cholesterol to bile salts. If the bile salts go down and the cholesterol goes higher, you could develop gallstones, especially if the gallbladder is not contracting properly. But what triggers this contraction of the gallbladder is something called cholecystokinin, which is triggered by, you guessed it, dietary fat. So going on a high-fat diet does not increase your risk of getting a gallstone. It's what I said in the beginning. It's a low-fat diet, especially if it's below 30 grams per day. And this can also occur if someone's a vegan that's not eating a lot of animal fats. They can be at risk for gallstones because there's not enough saturated fats to trigger the contraction of the gallbladder and also the release of the bile salts from your liver. So in this video, I kind of combined two concepts. One, the low saturated fat diet that increases your risk for gallstones. And when you're consuming high amounts of fat, you're getting a lot of bile production, you're getting a lot of contraction of the gallbladder, and so you're at a lower risk of getting a gallstone. But the other point I want to bring up in this video is a kind of a different concept, but it is related because we're talking about bile salts and cholesterol, is that you could end up with a higher amount of cholesterol and especially LDL when you do the ketogenic diet. But what you need to know is that fat that's showing up in your blood is coming from your fat cells releasing it, and it has to come out some way, and it's just going to go out to the liver. And if there's any type of congestion in your gallbladder or there's any type of fat on your liver where you're losing the capacity to mobilize this fat and eliminate it, it could show up being a little bit higher in your blood for a short period of time. But if you're concerned about it sticking to the arteries, all you have to do is do an advanced lipid profile test, okay? It's not your regular cholesterol test, where you evaluate the two different types of LDL, okay, the particle size. You have the large buoyant particle size, and then you also have the small dense particle size. What you're going to find on a ketogenic plan is you're going to have lower amounts of these small dense type LDL and more of the large buoyant type of particle size, which by the way is not harmful at all. It just has to come out to the body. It's the small dense LDL that gets lodged in the arteries that you have to be concerned about. But if you're on a low carb diet, you don't have to worry about that because it's the high carbs that creates these small dense particles that lodge into the arteries, which by the way, take many, many years to occur. That being said, if you're concerned about this and you want to lower your LDL, regardless of what type, and you also want to lower your risk of getting gallstones, you can just take some purified bile salts with a meal and also an empty stomach. And you can also take choline, that will help, and also include in your diet more vegetables to kind of keep the flow of cholesterol going through the body. All right, thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.